Okay, just gonna create a little video tutorial that shows how to manage some of the content on the LondonProMusica website, and anything that you're not comfortable with doing on your own, you can always send to me. So the website is now in WordPress, and we can use its admin panel to manage the content. So you'll get an email from me with this URL that takes you to the admin panel login screen, and I will give you credentials to log in as well. The password that I send you is going to be very hard to start, and the password should be fairly hard. However, you can reset your password to something a little bit more familiar by using this lost password link here. So you can click this and reset your password to something a little bit more familiar than the one that I send you, if you want. So once you log into the admin panel, you're going to see this dashboard. And there's a lot of information here. Everything is basically down this left-hand side, and you're really gonna we're gonna focus on three spots here. We're gonna focus on posts, events, and pages, because this makes up the majority of your website here. And the difference between there's pages and posts. So posts are like blog items that can be categorized, where pages are more just static information. So the majority of your website is pages. So our history is a page. All of these are pages. The home page is a page. All of these are also pages. The only items that are not pages are news. So there could be a news article or an audition. These are posts. And then the calendar is made up of events. So if we go back to the admin panel, we're going to take a look at, let's take a look at the pages first, because this takes up the majority of your website. So for example, let's show editing a page. So if you needed to change the president's message on the home page, what you would do is you would find the home page in the list of pages, and it's actually the name of your website. Sorry, it's this one here. And you know it's the home page because it's indicated by front page. And Elementor means that the page has been built with a plugin called Elementor, and basically Elementor is a user-friendly page builder that allows us to drag and drop what's called widgets onto the page to quickly edit content or add content without having to do any coding. So what you can do is you can quickly get right into Elementor and edit this page with Elementor. So I'm going to do that right now. This is going to launch the page builder. And you can see we've got a section here, and it has an image widget in it, which is this giant image that we put in here. And below that we have another section. And this section has two columns. You can tell here because there's a column here and a column here. And this column has a couple widgets. One is a header widget. The other one is just plain text. And in this column we have another image widget, which is just an image of this audition information. And below it, again, another section with two columns. And again, we're using a header, text editor, and an image. So let's take a look at editing, say, the paragraph of text here for the president's message. what we do is we click on this widget. You can click in it or on the pencil to activate it. And you're not going to do any editing in here. The editing takes place in this left column, and it will activate editable areas. So if I go on the President's Message header, you'll see I can easily change the title here by just changing the text that's in here. And if I activate this widget again, I can activate all that text that's in here. And this is where you're going to make your changes. Now this is a little bit narrow, so what you can do is you can drag this out to make it a little bit bigger, so you can see more of the area that you're going to edit. And it's as simple as, it's kind of like using Word, this text editor. You can just type and go, my new paragraph. And there is some editing tools here. You can bold this text by highlighting it, italicize, underline. You could turn it into a list if you want, or a numbered list. You could link this text to something like Google. And apply the link. So now this is a link of text. I'm going to remove it. This might just confuse you, so don't even use it. It's just going to pull this editor up into a full screen. It's kind of disastrous as far as I'm concerned, so avoid this. Toggle the toolbars to show or hide more of these tools. You can do a strike through. You could put a horizontal line in here. So I had that highlighted, so it's just going to remove that. But if you wanted to put a horizontal line in here, you could go to the next paragraph and just put one in. So it's just kind of a separator line. Yes, you can change the font colors. I would tread lightly on this if I were you, because especially if you want to try and keep any kind of decent accessibility stuff, because the contrast ratio, black on white is a good contrast ratio. This pale blue on white is probably a horrible contrast ratio. And besides that, in my opinion, it looks terrible. So, yes, you can change the text color. However, I would tread lightly on what you're doing here. You could paste text from, say, a Word doc in here, but that sometimes gets a little bit messy. But you can do it. It'll try and keep the formatting that you had in a Word document and put it in here. You can clear the formatting, so we just put it back. No bold, no italicized, nothing's applied anymore. Block quotes you probably never use. These alignments, you might center some text. Special characters, so there might be some sort of weird special character that you need to use in here. You can indent or outdent. And that's about it for the text editor. Actually, there is one more thing that you could do. You could add an image in here. So we could put an image in here. I'm just going to grab one from your library. This is going to launch your library items, but you could upload one from your computer. Just select it and it will upload as long as it's smaller than 499 megabytes. I'm just going to grab one that's already here, like this little icon. And yes, you could put it in here. It gets a little bit messy, so there are a few options that you can do here. You could highlight this and edit it. And you could say I want to left align this item to the text. So now it's a little bit more clean here, where the image is to the left and the text kind of formats nicely to the right. So yes, you could put an image in here, but you're probably going to want to left or right align this image by clicking in there and editing it. Maybe make it a little bit smaller, like a thumbnail, whatever. So that's using the, that's editing some content on this page. That's how you would do it. And when you're done editing content, you're just going to update. And once you've updated, you can go back to the dashboard and exit by just clicking that hamburger menu and clicking exit. This will take you back to the post probably. If this pops up, you can just close it. And that W takes you back to your list of pages. So that's a simple editing of content on a page. Let's dive a little bit deeper here. Let's take a look at creating a page and using multiple widgets and different kind of section structures. So I'm going to create a dummy page. Call it Shane's Test. And when you create a new page, there's a few things that you want to do before you start actually adding content to this thing. You want to fill out some SEO stuff. So the focus key phrase you want to populate, and it's usually the title here. Then there is some social items that you want to add. So you want to give some Facebook details. You want to give it a title, and you should choose an image, even if it's just this a little icon or kind of your logo. So that's where I'm going to choose here. And you want to do the same thing for Twitter. So we want to give it a logo or any kind of image. Populate the title. You can give it a description here, just a brief single sentence or two. Same with Facebook. But you can leave this blank as well, and it will just grab the first few lines of text that it finds on the actual page content. So you populate this or not populate this. This is up to you. And I will show you why you want to do this after, but you do want to do it. So put some stuff in here. You also want to give it a featured image, which should be the same as whatever you did in the socials. And now for a page, we're basically ready to go. But we don't have any content, so we're not really ready to publish this thing yet. So I'm going to save it as a draft. Draft is saved, and now I'm going to launch Edit with Elementor so I can build out my page content. So this is kind of the same as what I already showed you when editing a page, but it's a blank canvas here. We're going to start from scratch. So first thing we need to do is start creating a structure. So you could do a full width section, a section that's got 2 columns that are 50-50, a section that has 3 columns that are basically 33% each, 4 columns. This one probably won't get used too much, I don't believe, but this 3366 is popular, and 6633 is popular as well for a structure. But let's start with a 50-50, and we can start adding widgets. So the widget list is here under these little blocks, and the most common ones that you're going to use are going to be a header, the image, the text, maybe a video. Maybe you're going to embed a YouTube video on this page, which you actually do it actually happens on this look and listen page. So this is the video widget here. We've embedded this video onto this page. So you might use that widget, but the most common ones are going to be the heading, the image, the text, and the video. There are a bunch of others. You probably won't use them, I don't think. Or at least not right away. So to start using these, let's put a header in here. And maybe we're just going to say what the title of the page is. So it could be Shane's test here. And then maybe we want to put some text in here, a paragraph of text under that. So you just drag and drop it over here. And you can put your text in here. So I got 2 paragraphs of text. And maybe on this side we're going to put an image. Let's drag the image widget over here and choose our image. Again, you can upload an image from your computer, or we can choose one from the library. I'm just going to choose this one. Okay, so there we've got a good start to this page, and maybe that's all that's going to happen here. We have this heading, text, and an image. But maybe you want another section below this. So maybe it's going to be a section that has 3 columns below this. So we can drop that section structure on here. And maybe it's going to be a heading with an image and some text. Okay. And maybe this heading is a bit too big. Maybe we should make it a heading 3 just to make it a little bit smaller. And let's choose an image. I'm just going to use this. It's kind of not very pretty. Let's choose, I don't know, let's just use this one. No, that's too big too. I don't like it. How about one of these? Yeah, there, that kind of looks decent. But this is going to be whatever image you want to put in there. And maybe you want to do the same thing all the way across here. So I can hover this widget and copy it. Right click and copy and paste. I'm going to right click and copy and right click and paste and right click and copy and right click and paste. This could be a different heading with a different image and a different paragraph of text. Maybe you've got 3 events coming up and you want to showcase them this way. Whatever. So there, our page is starting to come together. We've got 2 sections now, and we've used the most common widgets. Actually, maybe this widget's going to be in a video. Let's drop a video widget in here. There. And it's going to put a placeholder video in here, but you're just going to drop the URL of the video that you actually want to play here into here. So whatever it is from YouTube, just put it in there. And that's the video that we'll play in here. So let's look at what we can do in here. We could start moving around these widgets. Maybe I want this text to be first and the heading to be second. So we could just hover, click the pencil, click and drag the pencil to move things around here. We can also click and drag columns. So maybe I want the image, my mouse isn't cooperating, but maybe we want this column over here and this column over here. So you can just click and drag the columns, which are these gray guys. where you want. Or you can do it within this navigator, which should be here. So we can expand these items. So we've got our column on the left with the image, and our column to the right with the heading and the text. So I could just click and drag these guys around, and it will do that. I could drag this heading into this column above the image, so I could just click and drag it up here, and it will move it there. I can also do this with columns. So I'm going to just bring those guys down and move the column around. So there I've switched the columns from one spot to the other. I can also do this with sections. So I could drag that lower section to be first, and then the other one is second. So I can click and drag sections around. So moving items within this page builder is fairly easy. Just click and drag them around. So I could even drag this heading from this section into this section here. So I could drag this down here, and then that heading is gone into this first column above that heading that we created here. So again, you can click and drag these guys around any way you want. If this navigator is in the way, you want to see what you're doing here, you can close it just like this. And to get it back, it's down here. It's this little icon right here. So we can relaunch it by clicking that, and it will bring it back up here. You can move it around if you want, just click and drag it. And now we're ready to publish, maybe. Okay. And now I'm ready to go back out of here. Back to the dashboard. Let's go back to the main dashboard with the list of all my pages. And if I go back to the website, you may be wondering, where did this page go? Because you said these were pages here. How come it's not up here? Well, this is a navigation menu, and we have to add items to this navigation menu. So if I go back to the admin, we will find the navigation menu actually under appearance, and this is the only item that you're going to adjust under appearance, and you're going to go to the menus, and you'll see Shane's test is at the top of the list because it's the most recent item. I just created it, so I'm going to check it. I'm going to add it to my menu, which is going to drop it to the end of this list of menu items. So let's save this menu, and then let's see if it shows up. No, it didn't. Why didn't it? Oh, I know why. Once you're done changes like this, you always want to hover this breeze and purge cache. And now if I go back and refresh this page, there it is. It added my menu item to the list after contact us. But this isn't where I want it. Maybe I want it to sit under About Us. So we can go back to our menu, and we can just drag it up the list. So you're not going to be able to see the whole thing here, but you can just kind of move it up the list until we find where we want it to go. So here's the About Us, and here's our list of About Us. Maybe I want it to be the first item under About Us. So I'm just going to drag it, drop it there, save, And to be able to see this change on the site, I gotta clear my cache again. And now it should move that item to the first item under About Us. Perfect. So that's how you add new pages to your navigation, and you just click and drag it around to where you want. I'm going to remove this because we don't want it in here. And I actually don't want that page either because it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to delete it. I'm going to move it to the trash. And if you accidentally trash something that you didn't really want to delete, don't worry, it goes into the trash first and it can be restored. So I could restore this. It will put it back into the list of all my pages. But when you do restore a page, by default it's not going to be published. So you would have to come back in here and republish it. You would also have to re-add it to your menu if you had it in the menu. But we really do want to delete this, so I'm going to trash it again. And if I am 100% sure that I want to delete this, I can delete it permanently. Once you do this, it really is deleted forever. So that's taking a look at pages. Posts are almost exactly the same, except for they're categorized. So I'm not going to create a post or edit one. It's exactly the same as doing a page. The only difference here is that we've assigned them to a category. Actually, let's create one and just so I can show you the categories here. So if I add a new one, let's say I want to add a new news item. Everything is exactly the same as a page. So we want to populate this stuff. I'm going to do it quickly. Here. A featured image. Same. Okay. The only difference is you're going to assign it a category. And right now there's only two categories. You have your auditions category and your news category. So we're going to put this as news. And we'll just publish it. But you can create the content the same way. And I'm just going to show you that my news item shows up under the news. Again, make sure you purge your cache so when you do preview the front end of your website that it actually shows up here. News and events. Let's take a look at the news. And there it is. It becomes the first item in my news list. So it shows up here. And if I had done it as audition information, it would have gone here. So the posts, basically it's exactly the same as pages with the exception of the category. So just assign it a category and it will show up where you want. I'm going to trash this guy as well. Delete it permanently. And I'm going to clear my cache. Okay, so we've looked at posts, we've looked at pages. Now let's take a look at events, because that's going to be the other area that you will want to play around with. So it's basically this calendar of events. Right now it's displaying the events as a list. So there's only a couple of events, and they are past events because there's no current events or future ones. So these two are showing up as past events. But users could display it as a calendar. And we'd have to go back to see some of these. So there's the auditions one on the calendar. And we can have it default as a calendar if you'd rather it be show as a calendar versus this list idea. But let's leave it as is for now, and I will wait to hear from you if you'd rather people see the calendar view versus the list view. So let's add an event. Click on events. There are some things that you may want to do first before you create an event. You may want to create a venue. I've already created this church as a venue. So that one event, this guy, let's go back here so it lists the past events here. This one was at that church, so I created the church as a venue. So you can add a new venue if it's somewhere. You don't actually have to create a venue for every event if you don't want to, but you can. And basically you're just going to name the venue. You can give it a brief description if you want, but put the address information in here. And this is something you don't have to create, or you don't have to fill out this SEO stuff for venues. Organizers may be another thing that you want to create. Maybe the organizer isn't you. Maybe the organizer was the Kinsman or the Lions Club, or who knows, maybe you're partnering with one of these guys for some event and you want to add them as an organizer. So you can do the same thing, just create an organizer. That way when we come to events to actually create our event, we're going to add a new event. I'm going to call this event Shane's Test. We do not get the luxury of using the Elementor page builder for this, but you're probably just giving it some details here, some text. Okay, so you can put some text in here, blah blah blah, details about my event. The other thing here, oh yeah, never mind. So I got a few paragraphs of text. I could add an image in here like we did in the text editor. Actually, we would want it up here. And again, this doesn't look very nice, so we would want to say we want to either left or right align this. There, so I could put an image in with some text here. And then we get into the dates and times of the event. So maybe this is a Halloween event on the 31st. And we'll say it's from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. on the 31st. And again, if you had created a venue, you could select it from here. Otherwise, you can just leave this blank if it's not applicable. Same with the organizers. You can select the organizer that you created, and if it's just you, just ignore this. all together. The event website, so maybe the event has its own website. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's some sort of event that's that you're associated with. Again, it could be you're partnering with the Lions, and the Lions has its own page with more information on this event. You could link to that page here if you wanted. Just put the web address in here. If there's a price, you're just going to choose the $sign as the symbol. I don't even know what an ISO currency code is, so we're just going to leave that alone. And we could say it's $25. You should populate the SEO stuff for an event. So we'll grab the title for the focus key phrase, and Facebook, Twitter. Let's choose an image here for these items. And we should give it a featured image as well. What do we got here? This is probably stuff that you don't need to worry about. No, you don't. You can categorize events. You're probably not going to get there. And let's publish it. There, we've created our event. Let's see if it shows up on the website. Again, I'm going to clear my cache just to make sure it shows up here. And let's refresh this page. And here we go. Now it's not showing the past events, it's showing upcoming events, which is Shane's test on October 31st. And we can click on the event to see all the details here. And that's it. Easy peasy. But maybe my event is on multiple days. So how do I do that? Well, let's take a look. Again, I'm still on my event. The event could be a series, so it could be weekly, every Monday, let's say, at the same time, but you could change this if you wanted to. Every Monday at 7 o'clock, and this series is going to end on, let's say, the 28th of November is the last day that this is going to happen. So weekly until the 28th. I could update this. Make sure that this shows up here. Let's refresh. Here we go. You're going to see that it shows on all these dates here. You can also look at it on the calendar. There it is there. And if we go to November, you'll see that it shows up on every Monday until the 28th. Perfect. But maybe it doesn't happen on November 14th. So we could exclude a date in this series. The event will not occur on one time on November 14th. I don't want it to happen on the 14th, so we can now update again. And if we go back and refresh this, there, it's not going to show up on the 14th. But maybe it doesn't happen on the 14th this week. Maybe it happens on the Tuesday, the 15th. So we could add a unique day, one additional day. So let's add another scenario here, which is going to be one time on the 15th of November at the same time. And let's refresh to see what happens here. It should add the 15th. So we've excluded the 14th from the series. Maybe this is a holiday for some reason or whatever. And we're saying it's going to happen on this date instead this week. So lots of options for adding your events here. Let's see here. The other thing that may happen in here, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, is you guys use Eventbrite for tickets. So maybe it's buy tickets now. We would link to the Eventbrite page that sells these tickets. So I would highlight this, I would create a link, and just put the address in for Eventbrite. And in this circumstance, we would want this link to open in a new tab. That way, when the user is done buying their tickets at Eventbrite, if they close their tab, they'll still be on your website. So although you could just apply this right now as it is, in this case, I think we want to open this link in a new tab. Let's update this now. And let's go back and refresh this. So if I'm on this event, you'll see the buy tickets now. And there, it opened Eventbrite in a new tab. And if I close the tab, actually, users will end up back at your website. So there we go. We've taken a look at posts, we've taken a look at events, and we've taken a look at pages. We also briefly took a look at appearance and menus for adding items to the navigation menu. Most of this other stuff is probably going to be over your head. You're going to need me to take a look at it. I am tracking Google Analytics, so you guys could see statistics on your website stats. Google has a lot of security in place, so if you were to click on this, you're not going to see any statistics. It's going to say log in with Google. So if you did want to see these statistics, just let me know, and I have to add your email address as a user who can see these statistics. That way you could click log in and you could see these. The other option is I could schedule monthly reports to be sent to you so you could see what the monthly stats are. You or anybody else on the board, members for that matter. Just a generic PDF file could be sent to you monthly that kind of shows these statistics if you want to see them. If you do, just let me know. Media is basically your library, so it's anything that you've uploaded to your website. It's all right here. You could add a new item here, but you're most likely doing it on the fly while you're creating your content on the pages. It just happens to show up in here after. But this is your library again. You can look at this stuff if you want. Comments. We're not allowing comments on the website right now, and I don't recommend it. Becomes a bit of an administrative nightmare, because if a person creates a comment on something, say a post or an event, it comes in here as pending. So you have to review all the comments, and what happens is spammers like to wreak havoc on the comment board, so it becomes a bit of a hassle to filter through all the bogus comments versus the real comments. But if for some reason you did want comments turned on your website, you could do this. Elementor, these are just generic settings for the Elementor page builder. This is already set up and ready to go. Same with templates. It's part of your overall design. Nothing needs to change here, I don't think, or at least not now. And if it does, you're probably going to have me do it. The WP Forms. This is just a form plugin that allows for the only form you have right now is this contact us form. So somebody fills this out and hits submit. Right now, if you take a look at this, the only form in here is that contact form. And the only thing of interest here is where this information is being sent to. So it's being sent to this LPM executive at googlegroups.com. I had asked Andrew, somebody, about that in an email. So I think you were copied on that, where I asked where that contact form was, and I believe it's supposed to go here. But if it's supposed to go to a specific individual, we can change where the contents of that form go to in here. But you'll probably have me do it instead of you adjusting. So you don't really have to do anything in here. Again, appearance, the only thing you're going to change is this. Plugins with this little circle with a number in it means that there's a plugin that needs to be updated. I actually take care of this for you. This number 1 up here with the circle also indicates that the same thing, that there is an update somewhere on the site that's required. It's also indicated here. You don't have to do anything about these. Just let me take care of those for you. If we want to create more users, you could do so in here. I would limit the amount of administrator users that are on the website, but I will be adding you in here, so it'll be the 2 of us, unless you add more, but I wouldn't, or limit how many are going to have access to this. Tools, you're not going to touch anything in here. Same with settings. This is a plugin that allows the website to send emails. This is already set up for you. So for example, somebody fills out that form and hits submit, well, you get an email of these contents. So that plugin handles that functionality. So it's already set up. And nothing needs to be changed here. Yoast SEO is already set up for you. WordFence is a security plugin that helps block hackers from trying to attack the website. This is already set up, and I monitor this as well. So just brief details on these additional items that you'll probably never touch. Just going to focus on the posts, the events, and the pages. And again, when you're all done making any of your changes, again, always clear the cache, and then you want to log out, and then you're done. That's it. So you can always come back to this video as a reference on how to do stuff. And again, if you have any questions, just email me or give me a shout. And anything that's too difficult, just fire it to me and I will do it for you. And I always tell people not to spend more than 15 minutes trying to do something. If you can't pull it off in 15 minutes, then it's probably requires me to take a look at it. So don't pull your hair out trying to do something that's going to take forever. Just spend 10 or 15 minutes, and if you can't get it to do what you want, just fire me an email and I can take a look at it.